I'm a fan of yours for a long time, and I really enjoyed this film. This is a strange, beautiful film. You speak of a creature in the clip, but tell us a little bit. Cold War.
Yes, it's set in the early 60s. The facility, the lab is in Baltimore, just outside of Baltimore. And yes, my character, I'm a colonel in the Army, and I go down and I find this thing in the Amazon River. And we're trying to figure out what makes it work. It's an amphibious being. It can be in the water or the land. And it's kind of tied into the Cold War, the Americans and the Russians trying to figure out if there's any kind of advantage they can get from this creature. Yeah.
You know, a lot of creatures these days are CGI. That is not the case in this film. And you were very cruel to the creature, which may be difficult because there was an actor in here the whole time.
Oh, there was a fella in there, Doug Jones. If you're familiar with the Guillermo del Toro's movies, Doug has played several creatures for Guillermo.
Yeah,
over the
Pan's
years.
Labyrinth and
Yes,
Hellboy.
the one with the eyes and the hand. I don't know if this means anything to you. Yeah, Doug is I've described him as Guillermo's monk, and Guillermo seems to like that description. He Guillermo comes up with the most fantastical beings imaginable, and Doug makes them a reality, along with obviously the design of the costume. But I think the main pain Doug experienced was in his knees, because he had to spend a lot of time on his knees in the lab. I don't think, as far as I can tell, we don't have any sour grapes between us.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Like when it was all over, he didn't sort of passive-aggressively talk about his knees?
No. He's a very thin man, and the suit is like made out of rubber, so it's basically like kneeling on a dish sponge for 5 hours. That's what I mean. He's like a monk. He's just very,
yeah, he can get
go
there.
to another realm. So me, like, prodding him is not really that big a deal.
There's some beautiful old Cadillacs in this film. Your character purchases one. Is it true that you actually ruined one of the Cadillacs?
Yeah, we had an incident one night. There's a scene. It's part of a chase sequence where I'm trying to figure out what's going on. The creature has disappeared. And so my character's in a mad dash, going here, there, and everywhere, trying to find the creature. And there's a scene where I pull up in an old car and run into this building, run up this fire escape in the rain. It's raining, it's night, it's very dramatic. And it's an old car, so the dash doesn't light up, so it's really hard to see what gear you're in. And, so the second take we did, I thought I had clicked over in the park, but I hadn't, and I was halfway out, and I realized the car was still rolling. And I tried to get my hand back on the gear shift, but I was like sliding onto the ground, and the car just very slowly ran into this, like a light post or something. And ironically, they wound up using the first take, so we didn't really even need to do the second take.
Yeah.
It was totally unnecessary. But Guillermo did say that because I was able to get rid of that light post, he was able to do another shot that he really wanted to do, that the light post had actually been in his way.
Oh, wow.
So he was...
So you actually did a great favor to the production.
Yeah. So if he wins, Best Director, he has me to thank. Yeah.
I've also read that you been in between takes on film, which can sometimes be really long. I don't think people quite understand how much time is between the moments where you actually act. People think you're in character, but that is incorrect.
No, I'm just tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired. It's a really long day, and I find small talk exhausting, so... I'm just kidding. So I try to just kind of... And also, the thing about it is, like, I'm used to doing theater. I did a lot of theater starting out in Chicago, and some people say, how do you do something over and over and over again? But I love repetition, because as far as I'm concerned, you never get it perfect. You never get it exactly right, and there's something you're always... It's not so much like you can go deeper in your character or whatever. It's just more like, what am I not noticing? What am I not paying attention to? What other response could I have? It's just... It's more like chess to me, trying to figure out the exact way through it, yeah.
But and do you find that in film do you have the amount of repetition that you have in theater, or is it just
sometimes?
Less, yeah.
I mean, Guillermo says, because Guillermo's a real perfectionist, very obsessive, and he's like, I may have met my match in Michael Shannon. He's like, he would be happy to He's like, we got it. Let's move on. I'm like, one more? He's like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. Let's just do it again.
Meanwhile, Doug's on his knees being like,
Yeah.
one more.
He's like, yeah, 10 more, please. I don't need these things.